is back under kickboxing rules, and it is set for 3 2-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out the Dynamic Mortgage Concepts red corner, please welcome to the cage, Justin Carrico.
Well, after one fight of MMA, going to jump back to kickboxing. We've already seen 2 matches of that tonight. No finishes early on, but some highly contested bouts, and they'll get better as the night goes on. But so far, just interested to see what you think so far.
Man, so these kids are so good, so young, and it's been just a thrill to be able to try to, add to the experience for the viewers here. But it's also, for me, man, it is so fascinating to move between Muay Thai and kickboxing and MMA, especially because we're building towards the Letway fight where there are 9 limbs involved. As we insert more and less weaponry, we're starting to see sort of the grand scope of how martial arts are expressed.
Yeah, and I think the one thing, too, is when you go from different art forms, you see the different skill sets that are involved. You just saw the arm bar finish. Thought he was going to go with the triangle choke. Goes with the arm bar and gets it. He could have gone either way. Thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he sure did. Think of it. You're 24 years old, and this is something JR and I didn't even discuss, but I mean, if you're a young kid and you love fighting, you're on a big pay-per-view tonight. You're on a big pay-per-view with a ton of interest from all over the world. Friends of mine, Boss Rutan and Mark Coleman and Joe Rogan and The Who. It's not just the how many, it's The Who that's watching tonight. They want to see Dave LeDuc versus Washington, and these kids feel that pressure and come out and perform.
No doubt, and they know how important it is to be on this card. I think there's some butterflies as well. So that when they get in and get into the action, I think once that cage door closes, though, they're focused on the task at hand. And we've had a few of these gentlemen fight before on our cards and move between it. I like the fact that there's some ebbs and flows.
Yeah, you make a really salient point. It's very obvious to the eye. The nerves are there, but the second the fights happen, they're glad to be in it. Finally in it instead of just leading up to it.
Justin Carrico already entering the cage, and we're ready for his opponent.
And his opponent, fighting out of the Nutrition Company of Cheyenne blue corner, please welcome to the cage, John Spoelstra.
All right, Spoelstra making his way to the cage. Again, this is the 5th fight of the evening of the 12-card bout. And, Spoelstra comes in, a guy that will bring it, just as his opponent will, but we've seen some good kicking so far. And I think the one thing, too, is the different rules of when they break, and I think the officials between fights figure out what they're doing in that next fight, and that's part of it as well.
Big time. They have to adapt. We're asking a lot more of officials, you're right, to adapt back and forth, and I think we're seeing that. Little reminders, hey, if a guy grabs a single and the other guy's following, you can't throw a punch there. There's a lot of complexity here, and more weapons isn't necessarily more complexity. Boxing's incredibly complex. We remove all the other possibilities, and now you have only the 2 hands. So, there's such variety here for the fighters, for the officials, for us, for the audience. Beautiful thing.
Absolutely. We just went from the 4-ounce MMA gloves back to kickboxing. Again, our 5th fight of the evening. This is the lightweight variety at 155 pounds. And I'll tell you, the fans up here so far have been treated some good action. 7 fights left on the card, highlighted by Cyrus Washington and the king of Lethway, Dave LeDuc.
Yeah, and people are stoked all over the world for that, and they should be. Dave is a special and unique martial artist. Cyrus is one of these masters who took Dave to a draw in the past, and he wants this. The winner of this fight is the best Lethway artist in the world. This is a 1,500-plus-year-old bare-knuckle martial art with a long tradition. To be the greatest in it is something very special.
And I thought leading up to it, the fact that I had the opportunity to interview both, and you see the calm approach that Cyrus has and the more intense approach that Dave LeDuc has.
Big time. These are all separate individuals.
Ladies and gentlemen, this kickboxing bout is brought to you by Cheyenne Beverage. Let's meet our fighters first. Fighting out the Dynamic Mortgage Concepts red corner, from Chicago, Illinois, representing Muay Thai of Colorado, Justin Papi Chulo Carrico.
Papi Chulo.
And his opponent, fighting out of the Nutrition Company of Cheyenne blue corner, from Cary, Illinois, representing high altitude martial arts, John Spoelstra.
We've seen John Spoelstra before here at Sparta Combat League, and here he gets another opportunity on a big card.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules earlier. I expect a clean, fair fight. Protect yourself at all times and obey my commands at all
I got a
times.
feeling about this one, brother.
They've gotten heightened as we've gone.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, the whole team at Sparta is just so experienced. They have that feeling, that understanding of the difference and of the progression. You're right. You have felt it all night.
All right, here we go. Touch him up. Carrico pressing forward. Both fighters try with that front kick.
I like Spoelstra taking just a sort of a gentle swagger here, trying to control his own emotion. You compared Dave and Cyrus. One is very intense and one is serene. That comparison, that difference is a much bigger difference than how you kick, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Who
It's
you
your
are.
personality. It's who you are. You take that into your fight. You approach the fight that way. And depending on how the fight goes, you find out which style will win that.
Yeah, and fighters have personalities and identities, and Spoelstra is sort of intentionally trying to stay more in flow and less fired up. And it seems to suit him.
Spoelstra again with that side kick. That one misses. Carrico comes back. That one blocked as well.
Carrico's got a kind of a hands-down approach, and that's not, you know, on the surface sometimes people think that's a flaw. That can be a big part of your game, to draw fire.
Absolutely. And then when you draw fire, that's where you look for the counter.
That's right.
Carrico going up top as well. Both fighters kind of settling in here now.
I'm shocked at how loud it is in here. You know, we're at a very minimum capacity for safety reasons, and people are, you know, we're at the safest legal amount that you can have, but it's so loud.
Oh, yeah, the fight fans here in Wyoming, they get it done. I mean, and this is a place where bare-knuckle fighting is allowed, and the commission's done a great job here of letting us present several different art forms.
Spoelstra's starting to get that flow going now. You see it. He's not thinking anymore. He's trusting his training.
Yeah, that front kick scored as well. It may have been caught, but he scored right on the chin of Carrico.
Yeah, it's really cool if you can catch a kick, but if you get kicked in the face, you still get kicked in the face. And Spoelstra's really getting his game going here. But Carrico's the one moving forward.
Seconds out, J.R. Gordon, what did you see in that opening round?
It's pretty much all showing Carrico moving forward.
Well, we'll see if Spoelstra kind of gets some energy off what he was able to do right. That turning side kick going up top, and we'll see if he opens up the barrage a little bit more.
Yeah, and how is his game? How is his capacity at striking, backing up? It looks good, you know, but JR makes a great point. The judges will see the guy moving forward, and that they reward that often. So you have to do even a little more when you're moving back and striking.
Yeah, who's the aggressor? And if you're allowing that to happen, you also have to make sure on your counterattacks that you're scoring well.
Yes.
All right, seconds out. Here we go for the second round. Spoelstra, let's see if he can get his act moving a little bit.
Spoelstra initiated there.
Yeah, Carrico coming back with the turning side kick.
And Carrico there threw 3 in the answer to Spoelstra's 1.
And there you talk about the volume and what that will do for the judges.
Yeah, I mean, if all else is unknown, what can they go by? That guy did more. It's a simple human nature judging mechanism. You look, that guy did more. Everything else seemed pretty even. I got to go with that guy. And these are the things. Oh, the spinning hook.
Spinning back kick, yep.
But Carrico, again, answers with multiple strikes.
Don't see the spinning hook kick very often anymore. It's an art that needs to be right on the money. It's obviously dangerous because you're taking your head and spinning it around.
Yes, high risk, high reward.
One of the most lethal kicks there is in Taekwondo.
Big time. And Cyrus Washington has a number, who is our main event, of course, against David Leduc. He has a number of spinning hook kick knockouts on his record.
Spoelstra tries it again there and tries to score up top, a grazing blow.
If you are somebody who likes to draw your guy in, you can step away and spin into him, and that's what Spoelstra is looking to do.
Spoelstra had a shot that countered and scored.
Carrico is just doing the job. Moving forward, throwing punches and kicks. Moving forward, throwing punches and kicks. If you want to give your fighter a very easy to understand fighting approach, this is it, and Carrico's doing it beautifully.
Be the busier fighter. Another leg kick, inside leg kick that scores. Carrico pressuring forward, uppercut there by Spoelstra.
Talked about personality. It suits Carrico's personality too. I'm just going to go to work. I'm going to go in there and go to work. Give him a mission, and he's doing it. It's very almost military-like in the way he's approaching this.
Tries with the knee right there, and as JR said in the opening round, he has been the busier fighter.
Yeah, and I think we'll ask JR in 5 seconds, but it looks like he was again, although Spoelstra having a good last 10 seconds.
A few better counter offers from Spoelstra there, but JR, second round, more of what you saw in the first?
You could almost say a replay, just play the tape back of what I said from round number 1. Carrico always pressuring forward. Spoelstra got off with a couple of those nice spinning techniques. Unfortunately for him, they didn't land and do the damage that he wanted. Carrico able to continuously pressure forward. So I have it another 10-9 round for Mr. Carrico.
And the other thing about this, Robin, when you're looking at kickboxing, it's 2-minute rounds. Yeah. The rounds are shorter, so therefore, if you're busier in that 2 minutes, it's going to be a little more glaring, whereas the MMA rounds are 3 minutes.
Big time. And a lot of the time, the judges will remember the last minute more. Well, that's half your round. That's half your round in this case.
So stealing that round in the last 30 seconds, if you can be busy enough, if you can score enough. And right now, Spoelstra's going to have to get a 10-8 round right here to stay in this thing, or a finish.
Yep. And he'll be looking to. Interesting thing too, JR made a good point. You could just literally say exactly the same review and observation of round 1. But that doesn't mean changes didn't happen. Because one man may have made adaptations that would have improved his lot, but then the other man made the adaptations to those adaptations. So although the results were the same, their approaches could have been different.
We'll see if Spoelstra gets a little more aggressive in this round, because it has been Carrico has been the aggressor.
Sometimes with a young fighter, you hear the coach say, okay, last 2 minutes of your life. And I just love that idea. Live these minutes like they're the last meaningful minutes of existence that you have.
Hey, man, you never know.
That's right. I mean, and that's one of the really special things about fighting. There is no past or future when you're in a fight.
No, you're definitely in the moment, and you have to be in that moment. Right now, Spoelstra trying to counter and gets that left to score.
Spoelstra, is being a little more fluid. I like what he's doing, too. You can urge him on and say you need a finish, but that doesn't mean become a different fighter. It just means do a little more and take a little more risks. That's what he's doing.
That left countered and scored by Spoelstra.
But your point, 10-8 round or a finish, winning the round will feel good, but it won't win you the fight.
No, not when you've dropped the first 2. Have not been busy enough, and right now Spoelstra appears to be running a little bit out of gas.
I've got a coach up in Canada, Evan Boris, who worked a lot with Coach Henry Hooft. And he would see Spoelstra and really like him, but he would say, we want more fundamentals, right? Spoelstra does a lot of really cool things, but Carrico is fundamentals, straight punches, low kicks. And fundamentals seem to be winning this fight.
And fundamentally, he hit him with a nice straight left, and then comes back with the overhand right. Spoelstra backing up.
Yeah, this really is a show that if you go, especially at the formative years, if you stick to the basics and you get good at the basics. Bruce Lee feared the man he didn't fear the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once. He feared the man who practiced one kick 10,000
times.
That's Carrico.
Yeah, and you perfect that, and you try to make it a lethal weapon for you. That'll do it. This one goes the distance between Justin Carrico and John Spoelstra. JR, a little bit busier round for John Spoelstra, but again was down 2-0. We lost JR a little bit.
Lose JR.
Yep, we'll see if we can get that corrected here.
I was going to say the guys in the truck, but actually the guys literally right here. It's such a cool setup that Sparta has. And Carrico doing exactly what he did. Spoelstra, absolute credit to this kid. He did more, and he asked more of himself in the third round. But Carrico kept moving forward. He put the fun in fundamentals tonight, and he just moved forward, straight punches, low kicks, just what you'd want out of this kid.
And the other thing, too, with amateur fighters, and go ahead, JR, we've got you now.
All right, got my mic back. Thanks, guys. Yeah, about the first 2/3 of that round, I saw Spoelstra have his best action of the fight, but I still don't think it was enough to take the fight away. As you guys talked about, what the judges see last is often the impression that they put down on their scorecards. Carrico finished stronger, possibly a little better in the conditioning. So I have a 30-27 for Carrico. But my opinion is just that, only an opinion.
Yeah, we'll see what the judges think coming up to this. But, the other thing about amateur fighters, Robin, before they jump into the big time, it's okay to be a counterpuncher, but as an amateur, you're learning so much more. When you get to the professional levels and you see guys that can see where their opening is, you see a lot more effective counterpunching.
Yeah, no, you're right. And as you develop, your counters become about making your opponent miss by a millimeter. Where as you're developing, you might make him miss by a foot. And that difference, it makes it harder for you to counter. It takes longer for your body, your weapon to reach your target. You see, even in Carrico, who's doing the right things, as he's slipping, see how much he moved? As he progresses, he'll move so much less in that moment.
Absolutely. It's almost like a quarterback from the college level to the pro level. You can get away with throwing that pass 3 feet. In the pros, it's got to shrink to 18 inches.
That's right. That's right. And that's the truth for your weapon. It's also the truth for you. You want to make him miss by as little as possible to keep the distance short and the time window short enough that you can get that counter shot through in.
Spacing. You're talking about spacing and making sure you can counter and
Ladies
strike and make it effective.
Gentlemen, after 3 full rounds, we go to your judges' scorecard for the official decision. All 3 judges scored about 30-27, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Justin Papi Chulo Carrico.
Papi Chulo, and J.R. Gordon was right on the money there.
Yes. Some great nicknames tonight. And we haven't even seen the Russian concussion yet.
Yeah, the Russian concussion. And I've seen that, and that will be a tremendous fight.
Yeah.
That will be for an MMA title at 145 pounds,
All right, guys,
the 10th fight of the evening.
Justin Carrico, how's it feel to get your hand raised tonight, Justin?
Felt great. I just want to say thanks to God, my coach, my teammates. It wouldn't have been possible without you. And thanks for everyone for showing up tonight.
You put on a dominant performance tonight. I thought you did a great job of defending the punches, returning with kicks that scored very well for you. Was that the game plan coming in?
Yeah, we're both pretty tall, so the goal was to go for his legs, counter off of his shots, and it worked out in the end, so I'm happy.
Your opponent had a big crowd. They were cheering really loud. Did that affect you at all during the fight?
Now, once you get in the cage, everything else just washes away, so.
Great job tonight. I'm sure there's some people out there that you want to thank as well.
Yeah, I already thanked them all, so we're good.
Congratulations. Great job.